Oh God, King Azoulay or Ben Azoulay, whatever you want to call him. He's another one of those wannabe alphas on the internet that post crazy, ridiculous, cringe ass content, basically teaching other guys and young men how to be real men, a real boy.
Do I look like a real boy, Papa? You will one day, my little wooden boy. One day.
He's known for saying a bunch of crazy ass shit. Some of you might know him for his long ass pinky fingernail.
I have longer pinky nails than my girl. My pinky nail is long. The biggest question is that a nail? So people don't understand what a long pinky nail is, but in the culture of Middle Easterns and also some other places around the world, when you have long fingernails, especially the pinky, it's the sign of wealth. And if it doesn't break and it's strong and it's powerful, then it means you're going to be wealthier. I have longer pinky nails than my girl. Literally, we measure it. And hers break all the time. But who's the wealthy one? You know what I mean? And this is a very strong pinky nail. But the first thing they say, is this a nail? Do you do? But if they had some culture, they would understand that what they do and what we do is different. And I grew up in the US. I was born in the US, but I never wanted to lose my heritage. I never wanted to lose my culture. So I always spoke in Hebrew. I always made sure that I speak to my people so I could keep the culture, the wisdom.
Some of you might know him from getting trained by the owner of a Chinese food restaurant that fell in love with him.
When we came to the US, I started eating at a Chinese restaurant. The owner was, for me, Master Shifu. When I used to go there, eventually the owner fell in love with me. And he said, that kid is special. And I would come to him, and before I would eat, he would move all of the tables and he would teach me Kung Fu. And I was 10 years old. So I learned how to move with like Kung Fu, you know?
Yeah.
And some of you might know him from getting his ass kicked by 30 guys when he was 13 years old. Sorry, I gotta try to say that with a straight face. He's known for getting his ass kicked by 30 guys when he was 13.
I got my ass kicked one time in my life. I was 13 years old. I got jumped by about 30 guys outside of a house party. After that, I purchased an Uzi. Nobody ever jumped me again. Nobody ever said anything again. I was ready to die, and I was ready to take everybody with me.
I swear, this guy just steals plots from different movies and creates his own story. First, he was in the mob. Then he was like an underground fighter. He went to prison. Then he was in the FBI. He got trained by some monks and then kicked his dad's ass. He also says that he trained his shins, his fists, and his skull to be indestructible by banging them against the wall over and over again.
After many years of training, and I trained all types of martial arts, I was training my fists, my elbows, my knees, and my shins to become indestructible. After that, I went and traveled to China and trained with some Shaolin monks, and they explained to me that the strongest part of the body is actually your skull. And if you train your skull for about an hour a day, bang it against the wall, after a year it becomes 4 times thicker than it really is, which means that you become unstoppable, indestructible. You could punch them, you could kick them in the head. All they have to do is turn the head to wherever you're hitting, and they will break any bone in your body. But the greatest thing about the Shaolin monks is that you'll never see them fight. So the stronger that I got and the more indestructible that I got, I found myself never fighting again. And that was probably the greatest thing I had to conquer in my life.
Honestly, that one makes a little bit more sense. I'm really starting to believe that this guy has just hit his head against the wall way too many times, because it seems like he's got a couple screws loose, if you know what I'm saying. And I got to admit, all of this is very hilarious, but this is where things get much more serious because, per usual, John Bravo has discovered something that is so shocking. Just as a little content warning for those of you who don't like hearing about topics like this, we are going to be talking about something very brutal. We're going to be discussing SA, so just be aware of that moving forward. Now, during my research of this guy, I was watching a podcast where he was talking about how he not only wants a virgin, but he feels like he deserves a virgin. Throughout this 3-hour podcast episode, he mentioned countless times how the woman he marries must be a virgin. And he talked about women like they were property and material possessions, which is not shocking when you hear what we're going to be discussing in just a second, but it just makes it all the more disturbing.
He kills the babies and then he gets to fuck all the lioness.
Yeah.
You want to hear a
And I see myself as a lion, so I'm not here saying I'm going to kill anybody. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, my woman, there is no way that she's been with someone else. And they asked me why I want a virgin. If I get married, there's no way my wife has been on social media around any of the guys, red pill guys, blue pill, you name it, any pill.
You want to meet my grandma?
She's never there. I'm just saying, in order for me to marry her, she couldn't have been with someone else before me.
Oh, so you want a virgin?
100%.
Now, Ben Azoulay has talked about many times how he was in prison, but when he is asked why he went to prison and talks about it, he never really answers the question. He's very vague about it, and in fact, actually claims that he went to prison for something that he didn't do.
And after that, I got arrested. I got arrested for something that they said that I did, and I didn't do it.
And what's funny about that, well, not funny whatsoever, but what's interesting about this is John Bravo did some digging and discovered some court documents revealing the real reason why he went to prison. When Ben Azoulay was 18 years old, him, his brother, and his friend were at a party when they convinced a 15-year-old girl to leave and go to Ben's parents' house and continue partying with them. So this young 15-year-old girl leaves the party to continue partying at Ben's parents' house, which is not uncommon when you're that age to continue partying or after party at someone else's house. And when they arrived at Ben's parents' house, all three of these guys essayed this young girl. The document says, this is a lawsuit by a young woman stemming from a brutal R and SA committed against her by defendants Ben Azoulay, Dylan Azoulay, and Mayor Vered on July 13th, 2008 at the home of the defendants David and Rachel Azoulay. At the time, H, who is the girl, was only 15 years old and a virgin. It goes on to say that Ben's parents were negligent in permitting these heinous acts to occur. H has suffered and continues to suffer extreme physical and emotional damages. H's damages go far beyond her gruesome physical wounds, which in and of themselves were severe and extreme. Since this heinous violation, H has suffered inter alia great mental anguish, humiliation, embarrassment, loss of self-esteem, disgrace, shame, shock, worry, indignity, loss of enjoyment of life, severe emotional distress, and physical and emotional distress. So guys, please understand how heinous and brutal this is. They didn't just R-word her, which would be horrible and awful on its own. Are you kidding me? But they also violated her from the back, from her mouth, just completely took advantage of her body in the most disgusting, demonic, and animalistic way. It goes on to say that H was forcibly dragged into a bedroom by Ben, who stripped her of her clothes, forced her to perform oral on him, and then R-worded her against her will. Ben then proceeded to brutally force himself upon H, beating her and R-ing her against her will with other boys, including Dylan. And Mayor watched while this was going on, but made no effort to stop Ben. H struggled to keep Ben away, but was overpowered and told not to fight. This is insane. H attempted to leave several times, but was prevented from doing so. In fact, each time she attempted to escape, she was pulled back into the room and subjected to further assault. After Ben had finished ravaging H, he passed her to his brother Dylan, who dragged her from Ben's room to Dylan's room. H repeatedly told Dylan no, but Dylan told her that she had said yes and she wanted to have S with him. Dylan pinned her on her back and had with H against her will. While R-ing her, he bit her on her neck and flipped H onto her stomach face down, and she was again R-ed from behind by both. After being repeatedly R-worded by Ben and Dylan inside the house, Ben and Dylan moved H to a couch in the backyard. Upon seeing H lying on the couch, Mayor, taking advantage of H's inability to resist, forced his fingers into her and R-worded her. Ben and Dylan watched but did nothing to stop Mayor. Sick, guys. This is so so just beyond, I have no words for it. Absolutely no words. This is twisted. This is demonic. This is sick. And guys, the documents state that Ben's parents were home at this time and did nothing to stop this. So it says that Ben was prosecuted as an adult and Dylan and Mayer were both charged as minors. Ben admitted his guilt in open court and was convicted. So it's very interesting that he says he went to prison for something he didn't do. Well, then why did you admit to it in open court? That's what I want to know. Now, guys, what's even scarier about all of this is these are the types of guys online acting like alphas, teaching young men, teaching your children what a man does, how a man acts, how to be an alpha, how to be a real man, and taking no accountability for what they've done, not admitting to anything, not saying, this is the stuff I've done in my past. I was a monster. These are the changes I've made. This is what I've done to become a better person. Don't, make these so-called mistakes, even though you can't really call this a mistake at all. But no, they're hiding it. They're not taking accountability. They're not showing a shred of remorse. Instead, they're making these videos about how, they're such a badass. They fight 30 people. They kick people's asses, trying to influence your children to be like them. If he's so rich, such a millionaire with such a fucking long pinky nail, we don't even know if he's actually paid this woman after he's ruined her life, put her through such emotional anguish, emotional damage. I mean, how could you even be the same after something like that? You would be fucked up for life. And we don't see any remorse or accountability coming from him. Instead, what he's doing is online still talking about how he deserves a virgin. He needs a virgin. And it really actually makes those clips of him saying things like that look all the more disgusting. These alphas just keep getting worse and worse. And, I'm starting to think that anybody who calls himself an alpha online has horrible shit, horrible skeletons in their closet, horrible shit in their past, because time and time again, that has proven to be the case, unfortunately. This guy is a weirdo. This guy is a creep, and this guy is a sick fuck. I don't even know how to end something like this. I feel so bad for the victim, and I know nothing can heal that situation or fix what has been done to her, but I just hope at least that he has paid her out, because she deserves it, and this is fucking crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do me a favor, like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.